In a world where cruelty often makes headlines, a single act of kindness can spark a chain reaction that changes lives forever. Humanity is often defined by extremes, acts of cruelty that shock us and moments of kindness that inspire us. Today, we explore stories where compassion rose above cruelty, where ordinary people made extraordinary choices, and where hope refused to give up. Story 10. The Stranger Who Saved a Life. It was a bitterly cold winter morning when a young woman rushed to catch her bus. The icy pavement beneath her betrayed her, and she slipped, falling hard. People passed by without noticing, wrapped in their own worries. But one man stopped. He helped her up, brushed the snow off her coat, and asked if she was okay. Instead of walking away, he stayed with her until a friend arrived to take her home. That one small gesture inspired the young woman in ways she could not have imagined. She began noticing small acts of kindness in her community and started volunteering at a local shelter, helping people who were homeless or struggling. Eventually, she created a program that delivered hot meals to elderly residents during winter, something she realized could save lives. Why it matters. Kindness doesn't need to be grand. Sometimes, simply stopping to help someone in need is enough to remind the world of humanity, and one small gesture can spark a ripple effect, changing not just one life but the lives of many. Story 9. Letters in the Dark. During a period of violent conflict, a small town's children were trapped indoors for weeks, surrounded by fear and destruction. A young boy discovered letters tucked under doors, left anonymously. Each letter carried words of hope, encouragement, and reassurance. You are not forgotten. There is light ahead. At first, the children were skeptical, wondering who would risk writing letters in such dangerous circumstances. But as the letters continued to appear, the children began sharing them with one another, creating a network of hope. They even started leaving their own letters for friends and classmates, passing along encouragement in the darkest moments. Over time, these letters helped the children maintain their mental health, continue learning, and find ways to support each other despite the chaos around them. Why it matters. Even in darkness, a simple message of hope can overpower fear and cruelty. Words have power. A single act of kindness, like leaving a letter, can inspire courage in dozens of people. Story 8. The Teacher Who Believed in a Neglected School Plagued by Bullying, Low Morale, and Lack of Resources. One student was labeled hopeless. Teachers had given up on him. Classmates mocked him, and he began to believe he would never succeed. Then came Ms. Harper, a teacher who refused to give up. She spent extra hours tutoring him, listening to his fears, and nurturing his talents. She encouraged him in small ways every day, praising effort rather than just results, helping him find joy in learning, and reminding him of his potential. Years later, that student not only graduated at the top of his class but returned to the school as a mentor, inspiring others the way he had been inspired. He also started a local nonprofit to support children labeled as hopeless. In other schools. Why it matters. Kindness often requires persistence. One person's belief and patience can completely change the trajectory of a life. Small daily acts of encouragement compound into life-changing impact. Story 7. The Community That Fed Strangers. After a devastating flood, a town's infrastructure collapsed. Families were trapped in their homes without food, water, or heat. Local businesses, restaurants, and residents banded together. They shared supplies, prepared hot meals, and opened their homes to total strangers. Volunteers worked around the clock to distribute aid, often using their own resources. What could have been a story of despair became a story of unity and hope. People who were previously strangers became friends and neighbors. Some volunteers organized weekly community meals, even after the floodwaters receded, creating long-term programs to help low-income families and the elderly. Why it matters. In the face of widespread tragedy, communal kindness shows that humanity can be stronger than despair. Collective action and generosity amplify the power of a single kind act. Story 6. The Prison. Letters that healed. A man convicted of a serious crime had been consumed by guilt. While serving his sentence, he began writing letters to the families of those affected, not asking for forgiveness, but sharing his journey of remorse, growth, and reflection. At first, the families were skeptical and angry, unsure if his words were genuine. Over time, many were touched by the honesty and sincerity in his letters. Some family members began working with him on advocacy projects for prisoner rehabilitation, helping reduce recidivism and improve lives in the community. His letters even inspired local schools to create restorative justice programs to help students understand the consequences of their actions while learning empathy. Why it matters. Even in places defined by cruelty, genuine acts of kindness and remorse can break cycles of hate and transform lives. Redemption is possible when we choose empathy over judgment. Story 5. The Doctor Who Didn't Quit. In a city torn apart by war, hospitals were destroyed, medical supplies were scarce, and people were losing hope. Dr. Ami, a pediatrician, refused to abandon her patients. She treated children in makeshift clinics, often under bombardment and threat of violence. Despite exhaustion, lack of equipment, and constant danger, she continued to save lives. She also taught locals basic medical skills so they could provide care when she wasn't there. Many children who would have otherwise died survived. Her courage inspired others in the city to step up, creating a network of volunteers who helped care for the sick and injured. Why it matters. Courage paired with compassion can overcome even the harshest circumstances. One person's dedication can save countless lives and inspire a community to rise together. Story 4. Forgiveness. That freed a heart after being profoundly wronged. A woman made a choice few could imagine. She forgave publicly. Instead of seeking revenge, she reached out to her offender, sharing her pain but expressing understanding and compassion. Her bravery sparked reconciliation within her community, inspired restorative justice programs, and helped both parties find peace. Her act showed that forgiveness doesn't weaken you. It frees you from the weight of anger. Over time, her story was shared in local schools and community groups, encouraging others to choose understanding over bitterness. Why it matters. Kindness isn't just giving, it's sometimes the radical act of releasing anger and embracing understanding. Forgiveness can ripple out, transforming not just one relationship but a whole community. Story 3. A child's simple gesture. A little boy noticed a classmate eating alone every day. He invited her to join him at his lunch table. Slowly, other children followed, and the classroom became a place of friendship, inclusion, and warmth. Over time, this small act reduced bullying, created stronger bonds among students, and encouraged empathy. The teacher noticed the positive changes and encouraged students to continue helping each other. The boy's small act sparked a culture of compassion that extended beyond the classroom into the wider community. Why it matters. Even the simplest acts of kindness can dismantle cruelty and inspire others. Small gestures often grow into movements of compassion. Story 2. The unexpected hero during a house fire. A homeless man risked his life to save a toddler trapped inside. Many bystanders froze in fear, but he ran in without hesitation. He pulled the child to safety, suffering burns and injuries himself. The child survived, and his act of bravery inspired a nationwide campaign for recognizing unsung heroes. The man didn't seek fame or reward. He simply acted on what he knew was right. His courage reminded the world that heroism is defined by action, not status or wealth. Why it matters. Heroism isn't about recognition. It is about stepping up when it matters most. One courageous act can save a life and inspire countless others. Story 1. The world changed by compassion. During a global pandemic, millions of people faced isolation, hunger, and fear. Countless individuals stepped up, delivering groceries to the elderly, sewing masks for healthcare workers, checking on neighbors, and volunteering at food banks. Small acts multiplied, creating networks of care that countered fear. Worldwide, local neighborhoods formed support groups, sharing resources and emotional support. People discovered that collective compassion can mitigate the impact of even global crises. These actions didn't just help people survive, they gave hope when it seemed impossible to find. Why it matters. Kindness can ripple through the world, overpowering cruelty with collective humanity. One small act can inspire millions, showing that compassion is stronger than fear. These stories remind us of one undeniable truth. No matter how dark the world seems, kindness has the power to shine through. Each act, no matter how small, creates a ripple that can overcome cruelty and change lives forever. If you've been inspired by these stories, take a moment to perform your own act of kindness today. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that restore faith in humanity.